welcome back. As Carissa would say, we talk a little sports this morning because we have to. Someone needs to explain to us what is going on in rugby. If you thought football was confusing, the SA Derbies delivered some high-stakes drama as the Lions overpowered the Sharks, i.e. the Springboks, while the Stormers edged out the Bulls in obviously a rain-drenched battle at Loftus. So glad they just made it out there. And with the URC playoff race now tightening, these results have reshaped the fight for the SA Shield. Lorenzo Darius is here to explain. Our sports
my
producer,
pleasure.
a man out in the streets. Interesting from so many different lines. I think I'm enjoying the Lions story arc the most.
Yeah.
Let's talk about them because they have made it clear they wanted to focus on just getting the wins.
Yes,
match to match.
just
Start
match.
building that momentum again.
Yeah.
And there must be a psychology in that is really working. What is working so well for the Lions at the moment?
I think it's the fact that a lot of South Africa writes off the Lions every single year. How about that? If you don't have any
underdog.
pressure on you, like what's going on? The pressure's on everyone else to perform.
Especially
and you just
the
like
likes of the
moving
Sharks,
along swiftly. And that's what we're seeing with the Lions at the moment. But the thing is, they did a Sharks on the Sharks this weekend. When the Sharks used to run away with the game, you never catch them.
Yeah.
And if you're going into halftime 19-0, come on. You know, you're just controlling the game. You're controlling the game completely. It was coming through with a try there and then doing a little headstand as well with his celebration, NFL style. But I must say they were quite ruthless on attack. And they went through it. There came a point where the Sharks, you know, kind of came back at the end, but they were just not themselves. They didn't look themselves.
But it's almost like the Sharks do that just to drive the nail in further for their fans when you see what they are capable, because they can attack from any quarter of that field.
No, they can.
I mean, when you talk about attacking potential, it's there.
Yeah.
The Stormers, to go and do what they did in the fortress, in the rain, and then it was nasty
Not
out
the
there.
rain, it was a pool.
Yeah,
that was
in
a
the dam.
pool. Yeah.
There were so many plus points in terms of the grit, in terms of what you want from your players. Never mind them doing the brilliant stuff, the talented stuff, the baseline stuff. When you're able to fight that hard to grind it out, that's got to be something for John.
No, definitely. If you play your basics right, and that's what happened this weekend. Firstly, shout out to everyone that helped get the water off the field. It was crazy. I had a mate that was there. He was sending me videos of the downpour at some point as well. And it was crazy scenes at Loftus. I've never seen it before. But back to the team itself, the Stormers playing the basics right. And that is what you want to do in those conditions.
Yeah, no, completely. Take care of the little stuff and the bigger picture will come into focus. What does this all mean? Can we start with the Lions now in terms of their URC journey? Where are they? Why are they playing so well? Is there incentive there for them?
Playoffs.
Explain that.
Playoffs.
Is that now a reality for them?
Yeah, playoffs, definitely. And to the Lions out there, I love you guys. You are playing the Sharks next week. Please take them down so that the Shield can come back to Cape Town, so that it stays here.
And this is the return fixture. This is the one that wasn't played in week one.
It was not. So the thing is, what is going to happen is that they've got one more fixture that needs to be played to determine the SA Shield. And so far, it's the coastal teams that could win it. The Stormers at the top. Sharks could get the points should they get the win with a bonus point. So I'm expecting a strong Sharks team to be up against the Lions.
Gods have been kind to us, giving us this little spice at the end of the domestic phase of the competition. I love that. What does this mean for the Bulls?
Yeah.
Who probably came into this as the favourites, looking at their form, looking at the structures. What's going on?
Look, the thing is, the Bulls are on for a playoff position. They've played really well. Jake White, I'm a bit confused with him. Before this, he was like, oh, we stand no contention to make it to the playoffs, and then all of a sudden it was there. And then this weekend, it's like they just didn't show up. They didn't know how to play the conditions. What is going to happen is that they are on track to make it to the playoffs. I don't see them falling further down with 6 rounds to go. They'll find momentum. The Stormers, they've got a good run the next few weeks. They're going to be playing at home. I think there's 4 or 5 games that they're playing at home, the likes of Canuck. So that should be full points all the way for the next few weeks when they're playing at home. So they'll make it.
As we take another look at some of those results from this crazy derby weekend, who's your money on? Because now we're seeing a momentum kick in at the right time for some of the teams, but there's a different journey for each team. They're coming from a completely different polarity. Who's in the pound seat from the South African franchise perspective?
Look, the thing is, I feel that we could see all 4 of our teams qualify for the top 8 if we keep this going. If you look at what the Stormers did the weekend, I am a bit biased with them. We've been in this position before. They've been in this position before, and should they get those 5 wins or the 4 wins with the last few games, they'll find themselves at least in the top 8. I'd love to see the Lions there. However, I've made a bet with a mate of mine that should the Lions win the URC, I'll be losing an eyebrow, so I don't want them to win the URC.
Well, I think it's done and dusted. The Lions are going to win the URC, and of course the Shield still up for grabs. But when we look on the other side of the pond, probably the greatest threats to us, and the Bulls have Leinster coming up, yeah?
Yeah, no, that is always a problem when it comes to the Irish teams. You know how it goes on at the moment with the Irish and the South Africans. We've got a love-hate relationship, all right? They've got Rassie in their head, and they want to take us down all the time. So they're going to push to want to be the top team in this tournament every single year. But we always see them being number 1 and never winning anything.
People who are still crying about the loss of Super Rugby. I would use the Lions as an example to see what this has done for South African rugby, us being able to plug into Rassie's dream matrix up north. Yeah, let's call it an ecosystem. I like that. You can see what it's done for South African rugby, for the individual players, their opportunities overseas. It's forced him to look abroad so that no younger players that are making it overseas are. There have been a lot of positives wrapped into this URC, and the fact that I like you saying 4 potentially South African franchises going through to the knockouts, absolutely beautiful. But to all of those who earned the bragging rights on Derby weekend, well done.